Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I think it is a slap in the face of us, the free people of the free countries, when our governments tell us that they don't have money to, raise the salaries of teachers, let's say, and other public servants, if you want to use that terms, and if you don't, I use it. But in the same time, they have money to give to other countries, for example, Ukraine. And I have here an article coming from Sputnik, where it shows us how Great Britain is buying, in the name of another country, weapons to give them over there, but they don't have money for their teachers. Maybe a lot of you are aware that in Great Britain in the past 6 months or so, there were a lot of strikes. All right? There were a lot of strikes, including, and in this case, I'm going to use the teachers' union, the teachers. Education, very important. And they've been told that they will give them a raise of about 4.5% next year, plus £1,000 this year. That's way below the inflation in Great Britain. But hey, that's a slap. Why do you think they can't or they don't give you that? Because they have no money. Their budget is not good enough. But on the same time, they gave billions of dollars to Ukraine. I have this article that's going to give us numbers and the situation. So see how these guys are just slapping you in the face. Comes from obviously the liars from Sputnik, and is from today, April 30th, 2023. UK plans to buy long-range missiles for Ukraine. Okay, so that means you guys are going to pay for it, I'm guessing, and just give it as a gift. But in the meantime, I went right here and look at The Guardian. It says strong rejection of pay offer in England shows teachers' fury, says union. So they voted the 98% to 2%, which they rejected the pay offer of the government. So anger among teachers in England over pay and school funding is hardening after what union leaders hailed as an unprecedented rejection of the government's latest offer. They don't have money, you understand? Nearly 200,000 National Education Union members. I'm not a union fan. Let's start with that one, okay? But someone has to represent you. Voted by 98% to 2% to reject the government's offer of £1,000 one-off payment and 4.5% pay raise next year. I think that gets to about £3,000. I think that's how much it will. So this is because they don't have money. They don't have money, my friends. The government doesn't have money. But on the other hand, let's go back to these guys. Let's see how much these guys paid and how are they going to buy? With whose money? The UK has already provided Kiev with a whopping $2.3 billion in military assistance. That's assistance. It's not, you buy it, I give it to you. Now, 2.3 billion pounds, I don't know if that would help these guys, if you know what I mean, the teachers or not, but I think it would help a little bit. But only the principle that you have money to send here to these guys, but you don't have money to give to your people, this is, I think it's criminal. It's like you give it to the neighbor's kids, you buy them toys or whatever they need, but your kids at home are starving. So the UK has already provided Kiev with a whopping 2.3 billion pounds in military assistance, remaining its second largest donor after the US. Russia has repeatedly warned that such aid is only prolonging the Ukrainian conflict. Britain plans to purchase long-range missiles for Ukraine within the framework of the UK-led International Fund for Ukraine. Good, so these guys are funding, they're going to buy it, according to an announcement published by the British government's website. So you have a fund, and in the UK, in the name of that fund, that is not governmental, it seems like, they're going to buy it for you and give it to Ukraine. In line with the urgent bidding round initiative, which expires on 4 of May, number 10 in particular expects to gain so-called expressions of interest from suppliers across the globe for land, sea or air-launched missiles or rockets with a range of 100 to 300 kilometers and a payload of 20 to 490 kilograms. These are big rockets. All right? And they're going to buy it for Ukraine. I'm not sure if the British government is going to buy it, but it seems like they will just help, in the framework of UK-led international fund for Ukraine. And I'm quoting, desirable requirements for the rockets include low probability of intercept mission planning capability and air defense penetration methods to increase the probability of a successful strike. End quote. The UK earlier provided Kiev with 7 M270 tracked missile launcher systems to fire rockets with a range of up to 90 kilometers. Yeah, but now they go to 100 to 300. And remember, this is how much Great Britain already gave Ukraine. But they don't have money for this. All right? But anyway, and if you think that UK will not put any money in purchasing this, this one right here, I have strong doubts. But hey, I am allowed to have them. Moscow has repeatedly pledged that Russian forces would drive back Ukrainian positions in case of the West supplying long-range missile systems to Kiev. Yes. The Russians said this. If you guys can strike inside our territory, according to Russians, this much right here, we have to push you back this much over here. If you're gonna have longer range, we have to push you this much longer. So if this is gonna be 1,000 kilometers, let's say, range that you're gonna provide Ukraine, the Russians have to push the Ukrainians 1,000 kilometers west from their borders. If that's Poland, so be it. So now you understand when these guys are claiming, hey, the Russians want to take over the whole Ukraine. No, but if the Ukraine is going to get longer range missiles systems, then the Russians will have to push them so they can't hit inside of their territory. Well, it sounds logical, but you can always say, well, why do you need to be in Ukraine? Well, if you go like that, we go to 2014, overthrow of a government helped by and recognize the new government and all that. We don't have to go over that. I think that's already at least, partially settled, because it's much more. Look into Victoria Nuland and then Ambassador, the conversation in 2013. Remember that one? The Europeans. Remember that one? It's still available. Check it out. So let's see what else these guys are saying here. And I'm quoting, one circumstance should be clear to everyone. The more long-range Western systems will be delivered to Ukraine, the further we will be forced, they say, Russians, to move the threat away from our borders, end quote, Russian President Putin said in an address to the Federal Assembly earlier this year. Now, Putin previously cautioned that Russian armed forces would find new targets if the West provided Ukraine with long-range missiles. And I'm quoting, if the missiles, are going to be supplied, we'll make certain conclusions and use our own means of destruction, of which we have enough, to strike at targets that have not yet been hit, Putin emphasized. What, you're going to hit inside Poland, where they come from? With 2.3 billion pounds, which is $2.8 billion, already pumped in military systems to Kiev, Britain remains the second largest donor after the US, who along with its allies ramped up military aid to Kiev shortly after Russia began its special military operation in Ukraine. Russia warns the West military aid to Ukraine would add to prolonging tralala, boo. My point is this. Clean your own room first and house, and then you help the neighbor clean his house. All right? Feed your children first, and then you give $2.8 billion to the Ukrainians. That's my philosophy. Otherwise, I don't know, do that. I need a lot of help. Why don't you give me some? Why don't you come and clean my houses? Why don't you come and clean my properties? Why don't you come and clean everything I got? I don't care about your house. Just come over, Red Rover. And I can play victim all day long if you want, right? It hurts. All right, anyway, so I'm just exaggerating, you know that. But I think this thing of, I don't have money for those guys, but I have money for those guys, And regarding the long-range missile systems, 100 to 300 kilometers, that's a long-range missile. And the Brits say, we're going to buy it for you guys. From that fund, from wherever they get the money, they already paid $2.8 billion. Already paid it, instead of giving it to you guys. And I'm trying to propagandize, oh my God. But do you like it? I don't like it. These guys here gave tens of billions already to the Ukrainians. From my taxes, from my work. And if not now, I'm going to see it at the taxes. And my children will see it. They're going to pay more taxes. The economy sucks. But anyway, we're going to pay more. But we help. We're on the side of the good. Because why? We try to eventually take possession of the Russian resources and refuel our little needs. Is that what it is? No, that's not what it is. It's about justice here. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.